I think people should just get banned from the internet sometimes.
Hey there guys, Zach here from WinBeta, and welcome to episode 28 of the WinBeta podcast for the week of August 14th, 2015. With me is co-host Sean Michael. Hey there, Sean.
Hey there.
And today we're going to be talking about, as per usual, Microsoft-related news and all that good stuff. We have a great episode for you today. We have Windows 10 stuff. We've got Windows 10 install numbers, a bunch of activation rule changes, as well as a new roll-up update for just the public running Windows 10. As well as a Windows Server build leaked, so that's going to be fun. We've also got a bunch of Windows 10 mobile stories, such as the Cityman and Talkman when they're coming out, Google Play Store, or Google Services being ported and hacked onto Windows Phone, and Windows 10 Mobile, Easter eggs, and possibly the a landscape start screen for Windows 10 mobile devices. And then later we've got our usual poll. We have whether we're going to be talking a lot about Windows RT and the death of that platform, how Universal Labs are not coming to Windows RT as well, and then we'll have poll results from last week as well, and poll results for this week, and whatever else. Then we have Cortana stuff, and my OneNote's really not working now. We have Cortana on Android using the home button, so Cortana can now be further integrated, and then Xbox One stuff at the end. So we've also got the hashtag AskWinBeta, so if you have any questions, make sure to use that hashtag, or if you're listening live, you can just comment in the YouTube comments section, because we are also keeping an eye on them as well. So, Sean, how's your week been?
A little bit longer now because of that intro. We have a lot of stories this week.
We have a lot of stories this week. This is going to be an interesting interesting episode indeed. So let's kick off with the first one, Windows 10 install numbers. So many of you will probably remember last week a report came out saying Windows 10 had hit 25 or around 25 million installs, which is it's an okay number, but considering Windows 10 had 14 million on day one, and then it kind of slowed dramatically up until over the next 10 days. 25 million kind of wasn't all that impressive after that initial day. But Windows 25 million is still a healthy number to be at after 10 days. Now, 7 days later, this is the 14th of 7 days later, when 14th of August. 14th of August, yes. According to my sources, Windows 10 is now installed on over 50 million devices worldwide, which is a little bit more impressive than 25 million. It's actually double what it was last week, so it's doubled in 7 days. And I hear that's because Microsoft began opening the floodgates a little bit more, because for those who don't know, Windows 10 is being rolled out in waves, so they're slowly including more and more people into the fold of Windows 10, and this week I hear they opened that gate a little bit more, and a fair few more devices came out, obviously 25 million more. So this rapid increase will change over time. It might get faster, it might get slower. It just depends on how the updates are rolled out and whether the hardware that needs to be updated is compatible. Once OEMs start releasing drivers and stuff, Windows 10 will include those devices into the fold, and then they can be updated. So it's going to take a while to get everybody up onto Windows 10, but the journey's definitely happening, and 50 million is pretty great. We have an article on it on WinBeta now, so if you want to read more into it, then you can do so there.
Wait a sec. What?
Yes, I did that.
You posted an article during the podcast?
I did. I'm working, guys. This is how I work.
Such a renegade.
I know. I know. But yes, that's all good stuff. So 50 million, around 50 million is super duper. And I can't scroll up on OneNote because it keeps opening the keyboard. Moving on to some more Windows 10 news. Activation rule changes with Windows 10. So, with Windows 10, most of you will probably know by now. If you don't know, Windows 10 changes how the operating system activates. Those of you who are Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 users got a free upgrade, which means it gets activated legitimately, but it's no longer using the product key that was supplied by your device. It's now using a hardware ID which gets sent to Microsoft, and then that ID is checked with their systems and on their servers, and then that ID is confirmed as having a legitimate version of Windows. So when you reinstall Windows 10, you don't have to enter a product key no more. So they've kind of abolished the product key for upgraders. So now if I clean install Windows 10 onto my desktop, which upgraded from Windows 8.1, I don't need to have the Windows 8.1 product key ready to insert. It just will automatically activate, hopefully with no issues. I know there was a few issues at first, but that was because the servers were slow, and it eventually activated anyway. But yes, that system should be working fine now.
Which is
what?
fairly nice, I think.
Which is fairly, yeah. You know what? I don't even know my own references anymore.
I know. How do you not get your own? Anyway, I think it's nice to get rid of the product key. I don't know. There might be a downside to this for like the users that clean install a lot. I don't know that side of it that well. But from like an end user perspective of I want to do something and it makes it me not have to write down product keys and keep them, I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, but many people kind of prefer the old way, because before you had like a legitimate kind of, I guess you could write it down and have it physically, but you had a code that was yours and that you could insert that onto your device and that would activate it. But now you kind of have to rely on Microsoft Send, and I definitely prefer the old product key method, but that's because I prefer all like just the old ways of everything, really. So except when it comes to Windows, I was persistent in staying on Windows 10 and getting this stream out, and I succeeded. So there you go.
There you go. Did you have to use this new method because you rolled back to Windows 8.1 and then upgraded to Windows 10? Did you use this method?
I did.
How did it go?
What, to activate?
Yeah, without the key and everything. Was it easy?
When I did it on launch day, it didn't work. I had many issues with multiple devices. It didn't work at first, but that was only because the servers were because the servers being hammered, they were kind of slow. But I did it yesterday. I did a reset, but then which is something I should mention. Many people are claiming that with the latest update release, which Sean's about to talk about in a minute, it's causing issues with resetting. I've tried on 2 devices now with the latest update, and it's causing a BSOD loop once resetting. So don't reset your devices right now. Furthermore, Once I realized that wasn't working, I cleaned installed Windows 10 again, and that worked fine. Before I checked the settings straight away, completely activated, no issues there. Didn't have to insert product key. When you install Windows 10, there's now a button that allows you to skip the product keys bit, so you can just press skip and you don't have to enter nothing. That's what I did there. I mean, it asked for it like twice, which is annoying. It asked for it first when doing the offline install, and then it asks you second during the out-of-box experience, but you can skip it both times. And so that's pretty great. That worked fine. So no issues there. Same for the laptop, which I had to reinstall Windows 10 on yesterday as well because of the BSOD issue. Activated just fine. So it seems to be working as intended now, which is good.
It seems to me like with Windows 10, it's a bit of a mixed bag depending on who you are. You know, I know that there are some tech journalists now. There's Mary Jo. She can't even log into the Windows Store. Like,
oh yeah, and apparently that update that was fixed today. I had the same issue on my Surface 3.
Well, apparently that was fixed for some, but not all, including her, I think.
Yeah, well,
it might be fixed now.
I haven't tried it on my Surface 3 yet, but I'm hoping.
So I've seen people, you know, like when they try out these new things, some people there's no issues at all, and sometimes, like you had this activation issue, other people didn't, and other people just kind of fixed itself, and then sometimes it's like, so it seems like it's back and forth depending on who you are, and that's also true with what they tried to fix with this cumulative update.
Yeah.
So Microsoft came out with an update. They're going to be doing a ton of this, obviously. They're going to update things. It's not like Patch Monday back in the days. I mean, they're going to be cranking out updates when they get them for this sort of major stuff. One of the biggest issues was signing into the Windows Store and certain apps. Like I think Mail had some sign-in issues, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah. There was a bunch of annoying issues.
Yeah, I mean, it was. If it was happening to you, it sucked. If it didn't happen to you, you probably don't care. But Microsoft, they released an update, hopefully attempting to fix that. As far as I can tell, it does help a lot of issues. Again, this is like bug fixing. They're going to keep trying to work this out after a while. It says, in addition, Microsoft also pushing out some security patches and fixes for security holes in Silverlight and Adobe Flash Player, which apparently is still a thing. In any event, so yeah, I don't know how big, a cumulative update. I guess that's the term they like using. It just kind of bits and bobs from throughout Windows 10. Silverlight there, a Flash Player there. Was it Patch Tuesday? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Patch Monday.
It's Patch Tuesday.
Patch Tuesday.
There's never been a Patch Monday.
I'm sorry, Patch Tuesday.
Although, to be fair, with the whole Windows 10 update all the time system, I don't think there's a specific day anymore, unless I'm wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Apparently, it's been so long, it just slipped my mind that it was Tuesday, not Monday. In any event, so it was a cumulative update. I don't think there was anything too groundbreaking or major in it.
It's just bug fix. I mean, that's what it's going to be up until October. Bug fixes and just.
It's probably also worth noting they added some more stuff to malicious software removal tool, that's that sort of thing. Microsoft is just going to be plugging holes for a while. And that seems to be the main thing that they're doing. So this cumulative update did that as well. At the big exciting stuff for Windows 10, we're probably going to have to wait a few weeks to actually hear any more of it, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, the information we already know is actually kind of all that's coming. There's not really much. Improvements to Edge, a fair amount of improvements coming to Edge, extensions coming to Edge. Hopefully the universal messaging app, which allows for Skype messaging and hopefully text messaging on the desktop as well. And just the October update will kind of streamline the Windows 10 experience a bit more, because now there's 50 million Windows 10 users. You kind of want to get the Windows 10's fallbacks sorted out quite quickly. And I think with update 1, threshold 2, they'll be doing that. So or starting that process.
Do you think they'll actually stick to Tuesday? So some of our commenters pointed out it was Tuesday this week, but it didn't seem that they're locked into Tuesdays.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if they are locked in. I think Patch Tuesday is a thing of the past now.
Especially wasn't it? Yeah, in any event, moving on.
Yeah.
The big things for Windows 10, we're going to start seeing soon, because the Windows insiders are going to start seeing things in probably August that will be coming out in October, right?
Yes.
So that's the next big thing.
Yeah, so speaking of actually the upcoming insider releases, this week a build of Windows 10 Server, technical preview 3 leaks, build 10,514. Now this is a threshold 2 build. And usually with the release, according to leaked documents, this build or one close to it will be coming starting or sometime next week. To the public, so MSD and TechNet server admins can download it and test it out. But usually around the time of a server build, a client build is also lurking. So I would expect if it's not next week, it will be the week after that we get a new Windows Insider build. I mean, it's about time. The last build...
Well, they kind of have to, right? I mean,
yeah.
In terms to get the October update ready, they need to start previewing things now.
They do, yeah. And I mean, I don't think they're that worried about previewing these kind of updates for Windows 10, but with the large ones, so with Redstone, they would definitely be more, into our feedback and whatnot, because it's they kind of give themselves a year to do big ones, and then so it's like steps. It's got a big one, then a small one, then they've got another big one, then a small one.
What kind of steps are you climbing on, Zach?
Wonky steps, but
what kind of steps are you? You got a big step, then a little step. You trip every
Think
time.
About like jumping across stones, like big rocks. Sometimes there's a big gap, sometimes there's a little gap. This is a terrible analogy, I know, but you understand it. Hopefully.
Sure, yeah, sure. Big, little, got it.
Yes, big, little. That's what I was going for. So, yes.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, we will have a Windows 10 technical preview. No, sorry, Windows 10 threshold preview build for insiders. And
I would hope so. Well, the other thing isn't the big thing coming? One of them is messages, another one's extend. Those are huge.
Yes.
Those take a lot of... You need to work out a lot of kinks, and you need people to get their hands on them and to use them and try to do things. And it's not like we're trying out a new shape for Cortana in this preview build. I mean, messaging is really big and quite complicated to work across all these platforms, and they got to pick how we want to shape it and stuff. Same with extensions; those are really complicated in terms of there are just a lot of things. There are a lot of moving parts, so they need to get that out now. Which I hope it comes with the server build when that's officially released.
Right. Yeah. Some of the comments are saying they don't think server will be tied with a client release at this stage. You might be right, because server is on a different release set schedule to client. Because, I mean, Windows 10 RTM'd and Windows Server hasn't RTM'd yet. Is Windows Server RTMing early next year? I'm pretty sure it is. If not,
wasn't it called? Well, I guess it doesn't matter if it's called 2016 or not.
Yeah, I mean...
Office 2016 is already here, so whatever.
Is the desktop client here for Office 2016? Or is it just the mobile?
I don't know. Not sure.
I don't think the desktop stuff's ready yet, but the actual the mobile stuff is, which is good. I mean, I use the mobile stuff anyway now. I don't use the full desktop anymore. I don't need to. I mean, PowerPoint maybe, but everything else I don't need to.
I don't have an Office 365, and I paid for 2013.
Yeah, so You have to. Oh, shame you got to stay on 20.
But through my university, I get 365, so I'll probably try it.
Yeah, so that's that leak in a nutshell. Nothing too interesting to people like me because I'm not a server admin. You know what? Should I do a video on it?
on the server?
On the server build. Welcome to the server.
This is just server build. Yeah.
No, does the desktop optimization pack still work? I'm sure one of the commenters will know. Anyway,
Zach,
on.
I bet you that if you did a build on the server preview, it'd get more views than this podcast.
I mean, if it's got the word build in it, it'll automatically get.
Especially if it was leak. Well, official gets more than leak. I don't know.
I'm not sure if that's true.
We'll have to check.
I mean, other than the actual Windows 10 one, which is to be expected, everything else, I think
Has that hit 1 million yet?
No, not yet. I think the unleaked builds get more views. I mean, that would make sense, right? Because less people have access to it. I don't know. I haven't checked the numbers in a while. Anyway, moving on to some Windows 10 mobile stuff, because right now that's kind of the spotlight for Microsoft.
Ooh, phones!
Cityman and Talkman, when are they coming? It's a question everybody's asking, and nobody knows a definitive answer yet, because Microsoft hasn't even acknowledged these. I mean, they've said that there's flagships coming, but they haven't acknowledged that a Cityman and Talkman are in the works. So according to Evan Blass, who is the world-famous EvLeaks, who leaks a number of mobile-related stuff, so not just Windows Phone, he does iPhone. Does he do iPhone? He definitely does Android, Samsung, HTC, all of those OEMs. He leaks all of their products before they're announced. And Evan Blass has now said possibly September, but there's also other reports that say early October. So, I mean, there is an event, an announcement in September. That should be in September, if not September, early October. But the actual launch of the products, I would be surprised if they're in September as well.
I'm much more interested in the announcement of the product than the launch, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the sooner it's in my hands, the better.
Well, no, it's not that I don't want it, and I don't want. It's not. I'm sure you'll want to do a review of it, or I'm sure all of our writers will want to do a review of it. But I mean, in terms of that, what I want to see is the announcement, and then in like 6 months, if people actually bought it.
It's a flagship. Nobody buys a Windows flagship.
Well, that's my thing, because like when it's out, people will play with it. We already know most of these specs. They're going to show it. You're going to know what it has. And be like, look, it's a stylus. And they'll probably have a presentation. It's like, look, it's on my phone. And then my tablet. And then the Surface Hub. And people will be like, okay. And then, and then they'll have all these other things. But what I want to know is, does it equate to anything? Do people actually buy it? So that's what me personally. So if they said launch event or like announcement in September, to me, that's the big date. Because then we get all the official specs and details.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for the Cityman and Talkman. They look like great devices. They look like a flagship device, and it's kind of the flagship people have been waiting for. Many didn't upgrade to the 930 or the Icon because of its similarities with the 929 and the 925. I say similarities. The 925 was a lovely device, very thin, but the
930 gained a little weight.
Yeah, it kind of you know.
I went to university for like a year and ate too much Subway.
Yeah. I think that might have what happened, but yes, they're kind of getting back into design stuff. And to be fair, I'm kind of more excited for the rumored Intel Lumia or with Surface Phone or whatever, because I think that one might be the phone to get.
Well, that's not going to be for a while.
That won't be till next year.
Oh, Zach, someday there will be a Pocket PC phone, and then I will be truly excited.
And then I will probably still not be able to stream from it because Windows 10 sucks.
I mean, honestly, you look at things. I don't know, like Continuum support's nice, and it's not full Intel powered phone. But even things like, did you see the Fitbit app actually has Continuum support?
Does it?
Yeah, I'm about 99% sure that the Fitbit app has Continuum support.
What do you mean by Continuum support, though?
Like it scales. Like that's what it claims.
But most Windows apps do that. They have to.
Just automatically?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they do.
Why would they put it in changelog if it doesn't do anything different?
I don't know, because maybe they're trying to fill out the changelog. I have no idea.
It was a pretty long changelog anyway.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure.
In any event, my point is,
yeah,
it'll be fun. I think it'll be in September. You're predicting September?
Late September, early October. It's around that area. I mean, we can't be more precise until the press invites get sent out. If they send out a press invite.
Yeah, we'll see. So
yes, moving on.
You know what it'll be? You know what it'll probably be? So I was in England when they had major Windows-related events in America. And then I flew from England to America, and they had a launch party for Windows 10 in London, which I could have gone to with you,
Yes.
but then missed by like 4 days. Then now I'm in America, and I'm flying back to England in September, on September 1st. So expect a prime Sean will miss it because the launch event will probably be right where I was before, but can't go to.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Whenever Sean's moving about, just assume the event will be a little
Wherever
bit
I
after
just
that.
was, major event.
Yes, exactly.
To be like, yeah, everything you've wanted from Microsoft will be announced the day after Sean leaves.
They've got one of the other rumors I've heard are that they're going to have like a number of hardware announcements in the one event, so you're going to miss out on like the biggest.
I'll miss
Microsoft
everything.
event
I will miss everything.
this year. Oh well, we'll send someone else.
Yeah, sure you will. Sure you will. Just replace me. Thanks a lot.
Right, moving on to some Windows 10 mobile and Android love news. A tool that can... Oh, I did write that story. You asked me earlier. I did write the story. I just remembered.
All these stories are written by you or me, Zach. I'm a little worried.
We make our own show. This is it.
Yeah.
So, yes, the tool that can sideload Android apps onto Windows 10 Mobile leaked or was found. I don't know if it was actually, air quotes, leaked or if it was just available in some already public SDKs and people just found out how to use it. I don't know how it works, but people know how to use it now. And what it essentially does is allow you to sideload, forgot the word, sideload any Android, I say any, most Android apps onto Windows Phone. So I tried it out with Twitter and of Periscope, I think I tried it as well. The Twitter app worked okay, and Periscope didn't. Periscope, I couldn't play any videos. People have had mixed results with this. Some people it doesn't work at all, some people it works great. Performance with them, they're emulated. I believe, are they emulated? I'm sure they're emulated. Someone told me they're emulated. So even though they feel native, you can, when scrolling, there's a slight sort of lag when scrolling up and down and stuff. Tapping on things is fine, and typing it uses the native Windows Phone keyboard, so typing like that's fine. With the latest build released, I believe I saw Gus on Twitter saying that the apps now hook up to notifications, so you can receive notifications from the apps, which never actually used to work before in 10,166. So that's all fine and dandy. So what this is like, this is kind of that. This is the universal bridge, isn't it, for Android apps over to Windows Phone? But developers can kind of edit their apps a little bit to make them more native to the platform. But with this is simply taking an APK from Android, throwing it on Windows Phone, and just launching it from the start screen. And it kind of works. I mean, it works for apps that don't require the Google Play Store, which actually leads us into our next story quite well. So, Sean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they sort of work. And one of the many reasons, amazingly, running software on non-native things doesn't always work smoothly. But in addition to general problems that occur from this, other things come from the fact that it doesn't have support from like the Google Play services. And so people have actually tried to fix that. There is a hacker, let me get his official hack name, Karav_MM. Yes, the hacker. Anyway, he's claiming that he has managed to get not only, he's got the Google Play services and Google Play Store inside of a Windows 10 mobile device, making him able to run just about any Android app. And a lot of those problems that you're going to see are going to be less, I don't want to say none, there'll probably always be some sort of problems with this sort of thing. But not so. In addition to sideloading apps, there's also this hacker who's managed to get the Google Play Store and Google Play services into Windows 10 Mobile, which I would think is going to make a dramatic increase in terms of some of the performance issues that were happening. It's going to decrease the issues, increase performance of those apps. I think it's kind of amazing that people figure this out.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's actually going to be as great as people are proclaiming it to be.
Probably not.
I mean, I think there will be... I mean, it's not official, and I don't think it's supposed to be official. There's going to be probably a lot of issues. I mean, what it does is... For example, the YouTube app. The YouTube app, it requires Google Play services, so you can't just sideload it on its own. With the hack, you should be able to launch the YouTube app,
right,
and it should work, in theory. But like I said, many people had mixed results with this whole porting to Windows Phone sideloading onto Windows Phone and stuff. So it's kind of I mean, Windows 10 Mobile is still not done, so there's still improvements to be made and all of that good stuff. So right now it's kind of happening, but it's kind of more for developers to get a feel of how their apps work and then make changes where they can make the app more native.
Well, isn't this? I mean, to me, with these hacks and the getting everything on there, first of all, the most impressive part is that they could get it done. Because, as I said, this non-native stuff running. I mean, it's quite complicated. It also shows to me that it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're 100% right. It is possible.
Which is like a huge proof of concept. They can be like, no one could argue, oh, we can't make these apps work. We can't make this. It's like, no, people who don't work for Microsoft or Google have done this, right?
Right. But
so there's no argument of like, you can't, they could make it work even better and use some of the things they learned from this officially. Because obviously, as you said, this is unofficial.
Right. I have a question. Do OEMs have to pay Google to use Google Play services? I'm pretty sure they do. And if that's the case, this could technically be considered piracy, right? And
yeah, I'm assuming there are a bunch of legal problems with this.
Yeah, which is why Microsoft probably won't do it unless they want to pay Google, which I don't think they do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for now, I think they're going to rely on developers to port the apps themselves.
Of course. No, like I said, this just proves that it can be done. It's very impressive from a technical standpoint. It shows that these apps can run on this system. But when you get developers using official tools and official things where they have access to everything, they should be able to do these even better. Like, it shouldn't get worse. It should get better, right?
Yeah. Over time, hopefully.
I would hope so. Like you said, the official thing's going to be porting Astoria. And then for, the other platforms like Islandwood for iOS, that's going to be that thing. But to me, this is a pretty big, and it didn't get a lot of traction today so far, but I think it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And one of our commenters did say, yes, OEM, they pay to use Google services.
Yeah, so this is technically, this probably falls under piracy then. So, Microsoft probably won't make it official, porting the Google Play stuff over to Windows Phone.
No, and I don't think they should.
No, I don't think
What would be the point of porting an app into the Windows Store if you could run the Google Store? That doesn't make any sense.
No, you're right. Yeah, developers wouldn't even just look at Windows Phone at that point. So, which is kind of what happened with... BlackBerry... Did BlackBerry allow... No, BlackBerry allowed just running Android apps, so they didn't have the store, I don't think. But, yeah, so that's happening. So, yes, developers still kind of... Consumers won't use this. Consumers won't be like, right, let's open CMD and port this app over to my phone. No, they're going to rely on developers still.
Right.
So, moving on to some more Windows 10 stories. Did you know, Sean, that there's an Easter egg hidden in the latest Windows 10 mobile build?
I know I had to do a lot to get it onto my Windows 10 mobile build.
Sean had to reset his 640 and go through everything to get this kind of just not even just this story. This story. So, there is an Easter egg hidden in the Windows 10 hero image on the Windows 10 mobile build 10.5.4.12. Yes, so the latest Windows 10 mobile insider build. The date of the image, so the date it was created, was Friday the 4th of April, 1975. So which is kind of a homage, I guess, to the creation or the time in which Microsoft was created. On that day, in 1975, Microsoft was born. So that's that.
It's pretty cool. It's a series of... the hero one is one of them. It's a series of them. You got like... It is April 70th. I actually find it interesting that they actually took the attention to detail to, it wasn't just the year or the month. They actually put in the date into the actual information for the photo. I'm curious. I don't know the history of Microsoft well enough. Is there any significance to 11:50 p.m. on that day?
Maybe it was the time.
They had to put some sort of time on there, I guess.
Was it the time in which Bill Gates said Microsoft for the first time?
Maybe so. And then
No idea.
The lights... They were just like, yes, Microsoft. But yeah, cool little Easter egg. Also, a bit of a workaround. I actually didn't put this in the original article, though it is accurate. I guess they've moved where like wallpaper stuff is stored, so they had to put it somewhere.
Right.
So they put it here, threw it an Easter egg. That's about it for that one. More Windows 10 mobile stuff. So, the news falls how it falls. We don't pick what gets to be important, except We do. At least for this show. Not out there.
You know,
but in here, we pick
earlier
what's
today, when
important.
me and Sean were having the conversation of what stories to talk about, we had on the list for potential stories Windows Redstone official leaks, just leaked details, and I said, no, we don't need that story.
No Redstone.
No Redstone stuff today. So
Nope.
maybe in the future.
Maybe in the
So
future.
instead, we have news about a landscape start screen.
And you know the best part, Zach?
What?
It's not even news. It's just a tease. It's a tease
It's an
for Mr.
idea.
Gabe Old.
Well, you know what? Gabe says stuff like this all the time.
I know. It's great.
All the time.
So Gabe tweeted out, well, I think someone tweeted him, and then he tweeted back about landscape mode, which has been talked about before. This in itself isn't new, but this tweet is kind of new because it was just on August 9th. So someone tweeted to him, many Windows Phone users need this answer. Do/will we have landscape mode enabled in future builds? And Gabe said, upvote the suggestions in feedback app and we'll see what happens.
And what that translates to is no, unless it's a popular suggestion.
Is that how you read that?
Yes. That's how I read that.
Okay. I was kind of reading it as it is going to happen, but we wanted to stir up some interest.
No, I don't see it like that.
No?
I don't see it like that. Because to be fair, Gabe said that a lot about Aero title bars. He's like, if that's what you want, upvote it in the Insider Hub or the Windows Feedback app, and everybody upvoted it. And where is it? I can't see it. My title bars are still pitch white.
Sorry.
So there you go.
Well, let me ask you, Zach. Would you want a landscape start? Because right now, landscaping, that looks terrible. And if I was using Word or something else, it would open landscaped, but then I'd have to rotate my phone back and forth. That is annoying, I guess.
Well, have you ever used an iPhone 6 Plus?
No.
I should not mutter those words on the podcast, but I have, and it has a landscape mode, and it works. It works fine. The native apps are also landscape, and the native apps on Windows 10 mobile are also landscape. So technically, if it was to be done, it could be done. But whether people will use it or not is another story. It's nice to have the option, isn't it? Because I know that there's some guy that goes, you know what, I'm not going to use it. I only use my phone in landscape. But on the iPhone, it works nicely. It works great. And I guess even though the tile sizes are kind of one, because how would the tall tile size work with it? Not the tall, the wide one. Because if you turned it,
we don't have tall tile sizes. They took those from us
away. But this is the thing: if we made it landscape, those tile sizes would technically return, because if you turn the wide tile landscape, it turns into a tall tile. Right?
It depends. There's a lot of the start screen in general, like Windows 10 for desktops and tablets. It scrolls up and down instead of left and right. And it kind of, to me, if you made a landscape start screen for a phone, it would actually look a little bit more like Windows 8.1 start screen, in that it was full and then you scrolled left, right. But they've switched to scrolling up and down. And so you would, if you made a landscape on Windows 10 mobile, would it scroll up and down?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And so then you get landscape, and I'll open up mine. Let me get into, I guess, tablet mode here. They've only made it 3 squares wide. You can do 1 wide plus 1 medium.
Right.
But you can fit that onto a 1520 can do that. Well, my phone does that. It's got a 3 wide now.
Yeah, the 1520 does 4 wide, I'm sure. So
landscape mode on a start screen would have 5 wide or more. And even if they put that bar in, they could do it in the middle. They could do 2 and 2 and a bar in the middle. But then you'd be scrolling up and down on a landscape mode, which is what they did in tablet. So they'd have to work this sort of thing out, I think.
Yeah, I don't see it coming.
I would like it because I think some people would like it, especially for a 1520 or the 950 XL or anything that's big enough to use with 2 hands. A landscape mode, you could just then always use your phone in landscape mode, right?
Yeah.
You just have it in landscape, open up text messaging in landscape. Have you seen there's a keyboard on screen in Windows for tablets? It looks really funny. Let me open it up here. I guess they had that before, where they do the split screen keyboard thing.
Yeah, they've had that since Windows.
They did that before, but you can make it super small though. Could you resize it before?
I don't know. I don't know.
So the little split screen keyboard designed for using your thumbs to text, you can actually toggle it between small, medium, large. I don't know if you could do that before, but that would be nice on a phone if you did it in landscape mode. That'd be a nice keyboard to have.
Team Gnome says I'm wrong about something. I don't remember what I said.
You're wrong about many things, so am I.
Whatever.
I'm probably wrong about a lot more things than you are.
But yes, no. So landscape, I don't see it coming. Do you see it coming?
Do I think it will happen? Not right away. I mean, maybe eventually, but not now.
No, I don't see it coming. Maybe with the upcoming flagships, but not today.
Have you handled Windows 10 Mobile on a small tablet? Have you done that, like a 7-inch tablet?
Have I tried it? Played it with it? Yeah, I've got a.
Do they have landscape mode for that?
Yes.
For the start screen?
Yeah, but it does the 2-split thing.
Could they just do that on phones?
I don't know.
Is it Windows 10 Mobile technically also small tablets?
At a certain point, I think it gets there. Yeah.
So anything that's on small tablets should also be on phone, right?
You raise a good point.
Well, someone else raised the point, so credit to them.
Perhaps. Maybe it could come then. To be fair, I have no idea. Actually, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna talk to some people, see what I can.
You
find
go
out.
talk to some people. If we get an article next week, we'll know it came from these commenters and the podcast folks.
Yeah. Right, so let's talk about Windows RT.
Do we have to?
Yeah, sadly, yes.
Oh, okay.
So, for those who don't know, I wrote an article ages ago saying Windows RT Update 3 will have the direct UI start menu, and that's it. I said in that article in July that there's no universal apps, no continuum, no tablet mode. I mean, obviously, it's Windows 8.1 with a start menu. That's pretty much that's it, really. So, Microsoft over the last few days have come out and said all of this stuff. They said the start menu is coming in Update 3. They also said that the lock screen is coming, which is lock screen improvements, which is fairly nice. They've also said universal apps are not coming to Windows RT. And that blew up. And for those who read WinBeta have known that for a while. So hooray. But yeah, Microsoft finally made it official, and many people are upset. I say many, I mean the small amount of people who have Windows RT devices, but it seems like many to me because I follow Microsoft enthusiasts on Twitter. But to the rest of the world, nobody cares. And that's kind of why Windows RT is dead. I mean, developers don't develop for it. OEMs don't release it. Microsoft even abandoned it. The Surface 3 is a Windows 8.1, Windows 10 device, not a Windows RT device. The platform's been abandoned. It's now slowly dying. And with this last I don't even know why they're doing this update now, to be fair. But this last update that they're releasing will likely be the final feature update for Windows RT. And then it will slowly die. And
slowly? This is I don't know. Do you watch Daredevil on Netflix?
No.
Oh, this kind of gory. This is like preserving a corpse before you bury it. There's no it's already dead. It's just like keeping chemicals on a corpse so it doesn't rot before the funeral.
No, you're right. I mean, like I said, I only use my Windows RT device as if I use it. I've used my other devices now, but if I'm using the Surface RT device, it's primarily for Word. I don't use I don't use PowerPoint. PowerPoint's too much for it. But Word I use on it because it's easy and it works. But that's pretty much the end of Windows RT.
So knowing that and knowing full well that it will never happen, we did a poll this week just to make you argue, and I feed off of your hate like the Emperor from Star Wars. Our poll was on should Microsoft make Windows RT devices run Windows 10 Mobile. I guess to clarify now, I didn't mean force as in like a force update. I just mean make that possible and make it happen. So knowing full well that it'll never happen, and knowing full well that even though it's technologically possible, it's not going to ever occur, we did this poll on if it should happen, and 91% of over 1,500 voters said yes, it should happen.
Well,
which is not a surprise.
Who are the 9 who said no?
The 9%, yeah, that's actually a relatively. Yeah,
I guess the 9% who said no said this exact line. I prefer the desktop. I like the desktop on Windows RT. Ugh. The desktop on Windows RT shouldn't be there. Oh, my thing is all stuck on.
It's like a little half. Yeah, I actually did click no, but it wasn't because I don't think it should. It's because I don't think Microsoft should invest the time in it.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
They got other stuff to do.
You're the good guy, no. If you're saying no because you want it to benefit Windows 10 and other of their larger projects, that makes sense. Absolutely say no. But for the selfish lot.
Well, when I wrote this poll article, I put in there that one of the things that killed Windows RT it wasn't that it was just like dreadful. It's not like it was without merit. There were good things about it. But Windows RT was very much a tablet operating system that has been replaced by 2-in-1s running Windows 8.1, even on inexpensive tablets. And that's, I think, to me, one of the main killers of Windows RT from like it's not worth keeping it alive. Like if the Surface 3 had RT, I think you'd see an update to Windows 10 for RT. Yeah. But Microsoft and all the other OEMs that are building Windows stuff, like even 8-inch tablets, that you would realistically not use the desktop for on a regular basis, at least in Windows 8.1, now run full Windows. Now they run full Windows 10, which works better with desktop stuff on your tablet. And so the appeal of RT in large part was taken away when they started selling inexpensive tablets that ran full Windows. I think the appeal of RT went away. Yeah,
they definitely did go. There was no need for it. I mean, the whole idea of it being on ARM, so it's long battery, was all kind of done by 32-bit processors. Right. You know, Beta, whatever else. They kind of overtook what ARM was trying to achieve, but with the added benefit of desktop apps.
Right.
So Windows RT becomes, you know, a non-thing because it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's Windows but without the bit that makes Windows great. So what's the point?
And we all saw this coming. It's kind of sad. I guess I feel for someone who spent money. Then again, it depends how much and what you spend it on and when. If you're complaining that your Surface RT isn't being supported, that's a bold move. Like, that's a bold stance to be like, I spent $350 like 4 years ago on an operating system that was experimental and barely used, and I'm really mad. If you bought like a Surface 2 like last year or something, I can understand you being upset. Yeah. But life cycle's undefined. The device probably still works hardware wise. Oh look, it actually is Thomas in the podcast stream. Ha! I tweeted him to double check. In any event. So yeah, and he does RT stuff quite a bit. I know he's dealt with Windows RT quite a bit. So yeah, I can see why this died. I can see why people are upset, but I think it's kind of time to move on. What does the HP Stream cost?
£99 here.
And that runs Windows 8.1, right?
Yeah, but you can upgrade it to Windows 10 like I did.
Does it actually work on Windows 10? I know you're doing that.
It did, yes, it works. Works fine.
And it works good?
Yes.
So you can get a tablet for £100 that runs Windows 10.
And Office.
And Office. How big is it? Is it 7 inches? Is that where the 7 comes from?
Yeah.
So yeah, and you get free Office Mobile because it's under 10 inches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. See? That's what I mean.
So yes, it's a big bargain. And Windows, how much? Surface RT users paid $400 for the Surface RT, and 3 years later it's dead. So money well spent. Also, I've seen a lot of people say, why are they adding a start menu? It's a tablet operating system. The start menu is optional. They're not taking the start screen away from you. The Windows 8 start screen will still be there and will likely still be enabled by default. The start menu will be an option that you can turn on. So there you have it.
Like I said, the appeal's gone with the 2-in-1s for most of the features that RT gave you, in my opinion.
Right.
Anyway, moving on.
So yes, let's move on to some Android stuff.
And hold on, maybe we should do this, Zach. Except for when the start menu actually is released, I think this should be the last time we talk about RT.
That's probably, yeah, let's do that.
Except for when it's actually released and we talk about it.
And I'd probably do a video on it or something.
No RT. Gone.
No RT. RT is now almost officially dead on the WinBeta podcast.
On this podcast, we have declared an execution date.
Yes. September sometime.
Yes, exactly.
Just like the release of the Lumias, the flagship Lumias. So moving on to more Android stuff. This is a very Android-focused podcast today.
Well, it beats our old iPhone-y podcast.
Yes, it does. The Cortana assistant for Android, the Cortana app, now can replace Google Now. That sentence sounded really incorrect. can now replace Google Now.
It's true though.
Google Now can replace. No, Cortana can replace Google Now. Yes.
Right.
So
yes.
So natively, if you're an Android user, which if you are, why? If you say OK Google, or use the, or if you press the OK Google button, I guess it will launch Google Now. But now you can switch it to Cortana, and so when you say OK, I don't think you can use voice commands, but if you activate the Cortana button, on Windows Phone it's the search button. But on Android, it's different for every OEM, I guess. It will launch Cortana. And so it feels more integrated now and more native to the operating system, which is great. Still no sign of Cortana for iPhone, though, which I've not.
Yeah, I guess that's not a thing yet.
No one's seen it. Where is it?
On the way, though, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. If you're going to have it, it's great that they can be implemented. Some people have pointed out that they're utilizing features in Android that they don't have on Windows Phone, meaning that you can change the default personal assistant.
Well, I mean, wait, there isn't even a there's not a developer who's created an assistant for Windows Phone anyway, is there? So what's the point?
I don't know. My point is that people have pointed out that like Microsoft's taking advantage of things in Android that they themselves don't offer.
Yeah, I guess so. But oh well.
In any event, I think it's great. It would be much more native, especially for like end users. It's important to remember that not everybody knows like everything about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So if I can just be like, "Hey, Mom, can I see your phone for a minute?" and just like change it, and then be like, "Now you have these new features." I don't think she particularly cares one way or the other. If it's Google Now or Android, or Google Now or Cortana, as long as it works. I don't think she cares.
See, I don't understand why Microsoft is working on adding separate apps to Android. Why don't they just work on getting Windows 10 Mobile on Android? Because
now that would be fun.
That would just be better.
I think what they need to do is make it not just so you can port from Android and iOS into Windows 10 Mobile. They need to do it the other way around.
Yeah, the entire operating system.
Not just the operating system, but then on top of that, they could say make an app once, it runs on every Windows device and can be ported. See, the other way, because then you have app developers developing for Windows first and then porting it that way.
I suppose that'd be even... Yeah, I mean...
That's what they should do. Somebody get working on that.
I'm not sure if that's already possible. If it is, then I guess they should brand it better. But if it's not, then that should be a thing. Because
they should go to the dev conferences and say, look, you can make an app once. It works on everything from a Microsoft Band to a HoloLens. And then using this, port it over to Android.
Yeah. I mean, that would entice developers more, I guess. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. But they don't. And it's not.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, Microsoft's working on porting Android to that Chinese OEM. Not Android, Windows Phone to the... I can't remember what
Xiaomi, right?
Xiaomi, yes.
Yeah, that one.
So, I mean...
There's an X and a me at the end. That one.
Yeah, them. So they should have some kind of ROM of Windows 10 Mobile to play with on their devices. But I kind of want them to take that idea and make it available to kind of all the big devices. So Samsung, the Galaxy S7 or whatever it is now, S6, Edge, Plus, Star, and the HTC One, M9, 8, whatever it's on. All of those devices, they should all be able to run Windows 10 Mobile as well.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be great.
I've noticed. I've referenced Windows, the mobile version of Windows 10 so many different times. I've had Windows Phone 10, Windows 10 Mobile, Windows Mobile 10. I've said it all in this podcast. It's just the branding is...
Just get the Windows logo to more people. That's all we're asking, right?
Yes.
Because then I get more apps and you get more apps because people see the user base and it helps everybody.
Right.
Whew. So there's that. Winding down, last story of the day. The Xbox One is going to get DVR features. We already knew about this over-the-air DVR stuff. Just real quick, it's only going to be in 3 countries to actually start. Some people are probably upset about this because 3 is not the entire world. Anyone who's taken geography knows that. Even on a risk board, which greatly oversimplifies how many countries are in the world by combining the entire Middle East into one country, and there's no such thing as like they split Russia. It's very confusing. Risk board, not great for geography, still has more than 3 countries in it. So in any event, over-the-air stuff, it's going to be in, let's see here, the U.S., it's going to be in, is it Canada, and then the UK. Yep,
Yay!
US. So yeah, we get in the UK. I'm in the US now, and then Canadians get it, which is cool. Everyone else, I'm sorry. I hope it comes later. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that it's more than one because they have a history of not even having the UK or anywhere in Europe. But they have the OTA tuner for a ton of countries. So I hope that over time this works for other
It
stuff.
should move out eventually. Also, before we wrap up, I've just noticed, you know what we didn't talk about?
Something that's important.
Something that's very important. The Windows 10 Mobile Insider release.
Oh, yes, build 10,500.
We didn't even talk about it. So
That's probably important. Let's finish with that.
Yeah, so let's finish off with that news. Microsoft released a new build of Windows 10 Mobile this week, build 10,512, another Threshold 2 build, which leads us to believe Windows 10 Mobile will RTM as Threshold 2. So it will release with Threshold 2 built in, along with Windows 10 in update Threshold 2 in October. And so that will bring all of the platforms up to date and all that good stuff. But yes, it released no major differences between 166 and 512. Performance is better. Bugs, there's a number of bugs, but there are some of the bugs in the last build got fixed. There's an annoying bug with this one where like the lock screen lags, as you can probably see there. Yep. It's like taking, see how long it took there. It's just really annoying, and that's kind of one of the that's the only major bug. There's another one. The movies and TVs app didn't work for a little while, but I think
it does now.
It does work now, so that's all good. And so that's.
I mean, we got a whole article on known issues. I mean, this preview thing. I think, as you said, there are no feature differences. It's funny. I don't know how we managed to do that. Ooh, that's funny. I have a whole live tile gone on my preview. It's just missing. Anyway, we talked about the Easter egg found in it, but somehow didn't talk about that it existed. Probably because there's no feature differences. So sorry about missing that. Yeah, but it's good that we got a mobile build. We've been waiting for it a long time, and performance is greatly improved. I think. Is your experience positive in terms of performance?
Overall, the experience is much better.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot better. Other than the known issues, performance much better. And yeah, I think you'll start seeing more and more bug fixes as we approach the RTM date.
Yes. So I think that's about it for this week then.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, that was a very feature-filled podcast. So yeah, this has been the WinBeta podcast for the week of August 14th. I forgot. How do I end the podcast again? I just completely forgot. I'm so tired.
You can find us on...
Yes, that's it. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, Twitter at winbeta.org, facebook.com/winbeta.org, Google+, just search for us. I have no idea what our URL is on Google+. We're YouTube /winbeta TV, because someone stole WinBeta. I have to point out every week, because how dare they have the WinBeta? It's probably Ron. It's probably Ron. Ron probably already had it. And
he forgot his password.
Yeah. So yes, you can follow me on Twitter at ZachB_. You can follow Sean on Twitter at
Sean_Michael_UK.
And you can catch us live every week on YouTube, every Friday on YouTube at 8 p.m. UK time or 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and watching, and we shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.